the other part of this is about the growing globally competitive companies. I think since the 60s, we've been growing Singapore's economic engine through foreign direct investments. That has been a fundamental of our growth since the Economic Development Board days. We saw across the last decade or more, large companies who come here on the incentives of tax holidays, tax allowances and stuff like that, are also starting to look at lower cost-based countries. And I think that much, whenever they uproot themselves, lots of unemployment has resulted. And so therefore, I think we're beginning to see that government will start focusing on SMEs and also how to grow the next generation of globally competitive companies here.
I think talking about helping SME to go global, as we know, if you look at the top competitive companies in the world like Nike and Google, if you look at the world most admired company, if you do a regression analysis, there were actually 3 key drivers. One of them, the first one is actually innovations. The second one is actually employee talent. And the third one is actually corporate social responsibility. Okay, and I think in this budget it was not touched on, and we're talking about the green space. When we are talking about corporate social responsibility, we are not referring to doing charities and all that, but one of them would be green policy. Okay, just to give you an example, if we have the innovations, we have the cost advantage and all that, but when we go out to the global, when 2 companies put together with our competitors, you have the price right, yes, you got the innovations, but if you don't have a green policy in place, but where the other competitors could be coming from Japan or Korea, where they have a green policy in place, I think the choice of the customer is obvious, right? So this is the area that is actually not moving on. And Singapore government has actually committed in year 2020, reducing our carbon footprint of 16%. How are we going to achieve this? I think moving forward, probably Singapore government will take the stage of, going into like green procurement and all that. So I think now it's very important to prepare those SME to look into this area so that when the government talking about green procurement and all that, the rest of the SMEs are ready to support in this area. So you need to build the kind of infrastructure and support. And another area that I really want to touch on is actually innovations. We are actually a knowledge-based company, and we actually have a lot of, when we first started to do the innovations and all that part, and we needed some help. We have the idea, we have the material, we need to tweak it. So, we went to the A-Star. So we tell them this is what we need and all that. So they came back with a quote, 40,000, which is not very expensive, affordable and all that. But the thing is that if they manage to come up with something, they want to own the IP, you see. So to us SME, end of the day, you're talking about innovations and all that. So where do we stand? Then if A-Star is going to own the IP, how many SME would actually go to A-Star? So anyway, we managed to have our own breakthrough and all that. So we went ahead to do the patents and all that. Another challenge is actually doing patenting. I think the ICPAS and all that, there are certain grants given to do some they allow you to get some consultants and all that to do whether your products is patentable, your products is marketable and all that. But end of the day, the key issues that the main amount of money is actually not from the consultant. It's actually for patenting. I actually have a list of, if you're only talking about 8 key countries like Europe, US and all that, the fees of patenting, it's about 250,000. This is actually the main bulk of the money. So I don't know how many SME actually have that deep pocket to actually go ahead. So even they have a lot of IPs, they have a lot of patents and all that, they would probably keep it or trademark it. But end of the day, it's very big. So that's why we are talking about IP in SME is very big. And to me personally, I'm actually not looking for a grant because it can be your business expenses and all that. But at least because when we needed we actually had 2 patents, so we have to fork out about $500,000. We have another 2 IP, which is very good, but we can't go ahead with the patent because we don't have the money. If you go to the bank will not give you any money because simply there's no collateral, there's no guarantee on the IP. So how do you go ahead? So one of the areas I was looking at, if perhaps the government can come up with something like bridging loan, that actually to support so that the bank are comfortable enough to give some money. So at least end of the day, when the company go ahead and patent the thing, they also feel they are very confident with their products that yes, this is the way to go, and this is, so at least there is a commitment there, right, to actually push forward. Those are actually my thoughts, yeah.
While we're on SMEs, unlike Mr. Tian and Ms. Chong, who's not really SMEs, they're fairly very successful businesses. At ASME, we deal with a lot of smaller companies, and of course, the challenge is educating them about this budget and what it means. For them, apart from being cash-strapped and not being able to automate, I suppose the only choice they have is either you multitask, go abroad, or you merge. These three options to them. And for them, Mr. Chu said the past year's winner of jobs credit is being taken away in June, and SPURS is being taken away. So the feedback that we've gotten is, why are you starting to raise the levy in July? Is that a deliberate attempt to give us a double whammy? So I mean, for them, they don't understand the budget. They're not accountants, like most of you are here. They need to engage consultants. They need to pay people to give them advice on how to restructure their businesses to take advantage of the budget. And now it's in March, so I think in 3 months' time, all costs start going up. They can't increase productivity in enough time. So I think one request that has come in is to give us a bit more time, even though it's gradual. That's one thing.